Well, I'm sure it's no secret to my viewers that recent years have seen a number of assaults on the rights of religious expression and the rights of parents. But my first guest is one of the leaders in the forces that are fighting back. He's an attorney, a speaker, a tireless champion of religious liberty, and he's the founder and president of the Pacific Justice Institute. Please welcome Brad Dacus. Brad, so good having you here. You and I have known each other for a long time.
Yes.
I have great respect for your work. You go into the legal arena to fight for people whose rights are being trampled. And we're seeing a lot of that today, aren't we?
Oh, it's unbelievable how much we're seeing in the United States today. Cases and things that I thought I would never see in my lifetime are popping up across the country, and particularly on the West Coast.
Yes. But why is that? What is it about the West Coast that just breeds, a world that seems to be disconnected from, it's certainly from Middle America.
Yes, it's so true. And the legislature is heavily dominated by those who have very little regard to religious freedom or parents' rights over their children. And, Hollywood's big and their influence. There's just a number of forces, some social activist groups that are not in favor of what we stand for are practically control the state of the city of Sacramento. So it's very much a challenge. But we have 5 offices on the West Coast. We have hundreds of volunteer affiliate attorneys all across the country willing to go to bat to make sure everyone gets the protection. That's one thing that makes us sort of unique as an organization, Pacific Justice Institute, is we don't just take on the high-profile cases, the big game. We work hard to make sure, Governor, that everyone gets help when it comes to these issues of religious freedom and parents' rights over their kids.
So something that I know you've been involved with is the transgender bathroom issue. What are things that are going on here that people need to be concerned about?
Yeah, I'll tell you something, Governor. It's actually sweeping the country right now. Many people thought when California passes that law saying that teenage boys can go into the girls' locker room and take off their clothes in front of them and shower with them, they thought, oh, that'll be just like 1 or 2. That's, it has swept through the state of California. Most high schools in California have at least one transgender. And mind you, it's not an anti-transgender. These boys and girls who have gender identity confusion, they need love, compassion. It's a real mental condition. But at the flip side, that teenage girl, that 13, 14-year-old girl in the locker room, she has privacy. It needs to be protected. And that's why our organization is actually working hard to go to bat for those children and those parents. And one thing that we've done, in fact, is we've prepared an opt-out form that is applicable in all 50 states. Parents can go to our website, download it for free. All of our materials for free. It's really helpful that people can use that as a resource and help protect their kids. And we're also very concerned on the proactive. So oftentimes people of faith can get discouraged and be fearful and just bunker down. That's never the calling of people of the faith, or particularly the Christian faith. It's to love, to share, to reach out. So we wrote a book, my wife and I, who was in full-time youth ministry before she married me, and I'm so blessed to have her, that's for sure. We wrote a book called Reclaim Your School.
And I've got it right here.
And it talks all about how people can legally live their faith, share their faith in public schools. The students, the teachers, the parents, the youth minister, even the school board members, the things that they can do to have a positive legal impact. And that's also available, free download, straight from our website, pacificjustice.org. Had to put that in there. So.
No, I think it's very important. And that people can download it for free. Get the message of that. It's very powerful to do. There's another topic that you guys are working diligently on the behalf of mothers and fathers across the country, and that's the abuse of child protection services.
Oh,
that sounds like, well, we all ought to be for child protection services, and we are. But there are abuses going on at the hands of governments across America. What's happening out there?
Yeah, we at Pacific Justice have given counsel to parents all across the country without charge on how to keep their kids from being taken from social workers when they knock on their door and they threaten to take them. In fact, we put together a worksheet. It's basically 12 steps on how to protect your children. And once again, they can download that.
And Brad, I want to make sure people understand, Government comes knocking on the door, and the next thing you know, they're taking the children away from the parent, not because they were beaten, not because they were physically abused, but because maybe what could be the basis?
Yeah, let me give you an example. Like in the past, I personally took on a case in court defending a homeschooling family, and they were, truant. They weren't having kids in public school. We prevailed in that, and now that's no longer a major issue like it used to be. But now what we've noticed, states like California have threatened to take kids and have taken kids from families who are not affirming their child's gender identity confusion or their same-sex sexual attraction. Classic example, we had a pastor and his wife contact me the day before the social worker came and said, someone from our church said that we should contact you. Our young teenage daughter wants to become a boy, and the social worker is coming tomorrow to ask us some questions. What should I say? I said, well, what would you tell them? I said, well, we're a Christian family. I explained to them our beliefs, and we believe in teach from the Bible, and da-da-da. And I say, okay, you will lose your child tomorrow if you say that. I say, here's what you really need to say to keep your child from being taken. And they said, well, it's not exactly what we believe. I said, well, when Pharaoh's army knocked on Moses' mom's door and said, hey, you have any children? She didn't say, oh, you caught me, and you'll find it in a basket 3 reeds to the right down the river. No. So we give them wisdom on how to deal with this and to keep their child from being taken.
Well, Brad, I think you're doing the Lord's work in the devil's territory, and I cannot thank you enough. And the Pacific Justice Institute is absolutely doing great work. I want to remind people about the book. You can download it. If you want to learn more about the efforts on behalf by Brad Dacus and the Pacific Justice Institute, listen to his weekly radio show, The Dacus Report, and be sure to visit the Pacific Justice Institute website. It's pacificjustice.org. The reason that's important is because if you think you're going to be facing some of these issues as a family or as a school or homeschoolers, then you need to be prepared. And don't wait until it's too late. And I hope that you'll take advantage of that. Brad, so nice to have you here.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Valuable information for every American out there.